Hello and welcome to this training. Today we're going to look at how we create pages using the Journal Team page builder within our Cart Integrator Go E-Commerce stores. So here in our demonstration store, we can have a look at this store features page. And we can see we've got headlines, we've got subtext, we've got images, and we've a variety of different layouts. So here we can see we've got 2 column, and here we've got 3 column, here we've got 2, 3, and so on and so on. So how do we actually arrive at this configuration? Well, we go to our back end, and first of all, this is the store features page. So let's take a look in our catalog and our information, because this is an information page, i.e. it doesn't contain any products. And the difference between an information page and a category page is that there are no products on an information page. Okay, so let's take a look over here. And what we want to look at is our e-commerce features page. So when we go in here, we see that there doesn't appear to be anything. Okay, now where this information, all of this information here, where that comes from is a layout. And here we've got our e-commerce features layout. Okay, so before we get into layouts, I'm going to look at a standard store page. So let's go back to information, and we'll just create a page called page test. Okay, so we've used this over the course of the demonstration. So I'm going to generate my SEO values immediately. So I'm just going to put in a piece of text there, and I'm going to grab this SEO URL, and then I'm just going to paste that here. So when we go into page test, we've got our little piece of text here. Okay. So let's go back to this page. Now, if I wanted to add paragraphs of text, I can do that with ease here. I can also add in an image, I can add a video. So let's take an image. I'm just going to grab this image of this little delivery guy. So now I can take that image, and if I highlight it, I can center that on the page, etc. Okay, so we can build out that page in this way, but it has limited functionality. It can be, you can do it very nicely, but if you really wanted to build this page so that it looked really professional, you're probably going to use CSS, and you're going to be coding, and that, unless you're familiar with that, that becomes a bit of a challenge. But within this standard page, you can add in tables, etc. You can add videos, as I mentioned. You can change the font size, you can change the font colors, you can clear formatting, you can change the font itself. You have a variety of different fonts. You can highlight, you can have bullet points, you can add numbers, etc. You can also define the elements within the page, whether it's a header 1, header 2, header 3, etc. Okay, within the image, you can drag that image and scale the image. You can look at image attributes. You can give it a title for SEO purposes. You can put in the alt tags. If it's linking to a URL, you can do all that good stuff here. Okay, but I'm going to delete all of this information because this is not what we want to do today. So now, our page title is called page test. So before we start to look at actually building the page, let's go back here and look at our store features page. We'll keep that page test open. So we can see here we have our page. So we've got our headline, we've got 2 columns. So next we go over to journal and we go to layouts. And in this case, this is our e-commerce features page. So this is our features page here, and this is our layout. So we go in here. And now what we can see is this is the page and how it's actually constructed. We have positions here. We've got top, we've got center top, etc. Column left, column right, content bottom. Where we're concerned is our content top, because we want this information to appear just below the header here. So what have we got here? So we've got a row, we've got 2 rows, 2 rows, 3 rows. Within this row, we've got a headline, and if we look here, we can see it's a title / text. And then we go to this one, we can see it's a title / text. And then when we go to this next part, we can see that this is a banner, and within that banner, we have an image, and that corresponds to this image here. Okay. And let's just go back to our title text. So here we have our headline, and we've got our subtext. This is our headline, and this is our subtext. Okay, so you can start to see that if you're familiar with Kartra or other page builders, they all use a similar logic insofar as you've got a container and you define what width that container is, whether it's a full page width or whether it's 2 column, whether it's 3 column, etc. And you can see here in the page builder, we have the option of 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, 2/3, 1/3, left 2/3, and 2/3, 1/3, right third, and then we've got 25, 25, and 50. So we can see a variety of different options available there. So next we're going to look at adding a new layout ourselves. So we're going to click add layout, and the first thing we want to do is give this layout a name. Okay, so we do that here in the little cogs. We give this layout a name. So we're going to call this page test. It's important that we keep this congruent. Okay, because when we're looking at this at a later point and we have, you know, a list of layouts that here on the page, okay, we may build up a series of these over time. So you want to know where you're storing things. Just make life easy for yourself. So match your catalog information page name with your journal layout name. Okay, so now we have our page blank layout. So I'm going to look at content top, and what we can do is we can then add, so I'm going to turn off content left, content right, and content bottom. I'm going to even turn off top. We just want our content top. So next I'm going to add a row. So here, to match what we were looking at here, we're just going to add in a title. So we're going to click add, and here on the left hand side we have a variety of different options we can add. We've got banners, blocks, sliders, galleries, info blocks, newsletters, contact form, lots and lots of different things that we can add here. But in this example I'm going to look at a title text. Now this is going to bring up all of the title text that are available. So let me show you what I've done here. So we have our e-commerce features block, and I've numbered them from 1 up to 10. Okay, so I want to have a logic on the page that allows me to understand the positioning of each of those blocks. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am just going to clone one of these blocks to make it easy for me to use. So I'm going to take this block here and I'm going to clone it. Am I sure I want to duplicate it? Yes, and there's our copy. So now I'm going to give this a title, page test title. We'll call this main title. Okay, and then we're going to go main title, and then you would add in your text here. You can look at your module styles where you've got a font override where you can inherit the font, or you can pick a particular font. You can specify the font color and you can specify the font size. So you've got a text font override for your headline and a subtitle font override. So you can set both of those. You've got module backgrounds where you can set a color, an image, and a gradient. You've module padding and module margin, and whether or not a divider is visible. And then if you want to put some background text in there, you can do that also. Okay, so before we go any further, let's take a look at what that actually looks like when we apply it through to a page. Now, I have saved this, but I'm in a title text element. When I go back to my page, that is not there. So now I've got to add this row again. Now, if you wanted to avoid this step, what you would do is just save that at this point, and that would add this empty container onto the page. So next we're going to go back and we're going to go to our title text. Now we're going to scroll down through our list. Now you can filter this as well. Okay, so you can just put that in there at the top to make life easy for yourself. So now we've got our first row is 100% row with our page test. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to our information page and catalog, and we're going to look at our product test. And now we're going to add that layout through to this particular page. And then we go back to our page test, and we can see we now have our title. Okay. But here on this page, you can see that the main title is too squashed up towards the top. So we'll keep that page open and we go back to our layout, and we're going to go back. We can filter again by our page test. And now we'll look at this column. So we have options with the row, and then we have the container within the row. So let's look here first of all. If I wanted to put some padding at the top, maybe I'll add 10 there and here, and let's see what happens. So that has now given me 10. Now personally, I want to match that space with this space. So we'll look here again, and I'm just going to maybe add that to be about 25 maybe. And when you're looking at design, a little tip I would give you is when you start adding padding, try and remember the padding that you apply and keep it consistent throughout your design, okay? Because when you are using a spacing, say for example of 25, and if you use a spacing of 50, it throws the eye off unless you're intentionally leaving that extra white space. Okay, so now we're back to our design. So I then want to add another row. So let's say we're going to go 2 columns. So now I've got 2 columns here, and I then want to add something in here. So in this case, I might want to add another title, and I might want to add an image below. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to add a title. I'm going to use page test again, and I'm going to clone this. Okay, so now we've got page title, test, title 2A. Right, so what I'm going to say here is I'm going to say this title 2A. So what does this mean? It means that I'm applying this title into the second column in position A, which is the left hand side. And I'm going to keep this really original, and I'm just going to put in title 2A. Okay, I'm going to apply that, and now when we go back, look what's happened again. So again, we can save that as we go, and I'm just doing this to highlight to you that if you save as you go, and I'll do it on the next one, it just makes life a little bit easier for you. So again, page title, I can grab that title now, and I can add it there, add it to the layout, go back to my layout, and we'll see that we've got our title 2A. Okay, so we're starting to look at this page in a logical structure. So now I'm going to add another title here. I'm going to page title 2A, and I'm going to clone that, and I'm going to be page title 2B. Very original, I know, but so now we're going here, so this page title 2B. And I just use this from try to be logical and understand that when I am looking at, sorry it didn't save there, when I am looking at this page layout and I'm trying to understand where everything is, I want it to be very, very clear. So now we can see we've got our main title, and if we want to increase that font, we can. We just go back over here into our main title, and we might want to do a font override over here, and let's just make that a little bit bigger. So we're saving that, go back, and now our title is a little bit bigger. But now what's happened is because we're inheriting that title size, it's affected the other titles. So in this case, what we may want to do for this particular main title is we may want to override the inherited font. Okay, and I'm going to say this is going to be a headings bold using Playfair, and now let's change that title. And now that title has changed because some fonts are inherited because they're defined as part of the theme. And there is lots of information within the journal theme documentation about fonts, etc. So I suggest that you become familiar with that documentation because it's a great guide for helping you understand how this very, very powerful theme is constructed. So back to our layout. So we can close this, and now I want to add an image into each of these. So I'm going to add another module, and we're now going to add a banner. So we can go over here to our banners, and we can see now, again, I've used that same logic for my ecom feature. So in this case, we were looking at page test. Okay, so we're going to give these this same logic. So let's just go back here and delete that. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this one and I'm going to copy it. Okay, so see we've got our affiliates copy. Now again, I'm going to give it the page test. I'm going to go So this is 2A. So this is row 2 positioning. If I want to give it a title, I can, and then the next part is I want to add that image. So I'm going to call that the same as I'm calling it here, just to make it easy. Entirely up to yourself. There's text overlay options, etc. Or you can add an image. So if you want to add an image, you just click image. And I suggest as you are building out your store and you start to add images, you use the structure for storage. So if you want to upload an image, you're going to use the blue button here, but that's going to upload it into one location. If you want to create a new folder, you can create that folder here, and that will create that new folder. And if you want to delete something, you can use that option here. So I'm going to go into pages, and I have one here called e-commerce features. So rather than have to drag new images up, I'm just going to take one of these images. So I'm going to take this very first image here, and I'm going to add it now to my banner. I'm going to save the banner, and let's go back to our page. Lo and behold, it's not there. Okay, so we're going to add that again, and we'll go back to banner. So let's just pretend that I've done that process that I've just outlined there a moment ago, and I end up in this position here. So I'm just going to add that row. I'm going to now save it, and then when I'm going in to add my banner, I can then go and look for my banner. I'm going to add that here to the page, and we now will have that image appearing on the page, and we can do the same for this. Now, in relation to banners and titles, etc., so you don't have to do them on the page here. I do it for convenience, but if you have no titles and you have no banners, what you would do is you would go to Journal and you would go to Modules, and if you notice here, we've got blocks, banners, sliders, gallery, etc., and we go back to Layouts, and this is about becoming familiar with any new theme, etc. So if I look here and I'm going to go to add a module here, I'll add it over here. I click add. It's the same information here. So when you become familiar with the configuration and the layout of the journal theme, it becomes easier. But at the beginning, it might be a little bit overwhelming because there is a lot of functionality built into this very, very powerful theme within your Kartra GO E-Commerce store. Okay, so again, going back to modules, and if you're in blocks and you wanted to add a block, so we haven't done blocks yet. So say you wanted to add some title text. Here you would add in title text, and it's the same process as you've seen when I clone it. So it's nothing new. You're going to give it a title, and the title is your module title, and then you've got your title text, which will appear on your page, and you've got your title subtitle text. And you can define the module styles, its position, left, right, center, whether that is inherited, meaning it's defined at a theme level. The font overrides whether the font is inherited, i.e. defined at the theme level, or you specify it within the particular item that you're working on. So I'm going to stick with layouts, and we're going to go back to our page title test. Let's go back. Okay, so there's our page test. So now we want to add another banner over here, and I'm going to go to banners, and I'm going to pick just another banner. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm going to delete that banner now, and I'm going to add it again. We're going to go back to banners, and what I want to do is I want to clone that banner. So I now take it, and I've got my affiliates copy, and now this is going to be position 2B. And you know, you might even go a little bit further to make it easier and say that it's banner 2B. That's entirely up to yourself. Actually, I'm just going to leave it with that image because we've shown you how to actually add an image to the page. You can add your image alt text, and if you want that image to link to some place, you can also do that. So let's take a quick look at that. So the custom option for linking. So this allows you to define a URL, and within the settings here, you can define whether it opens in a new tab or not. You can look at a particular page within your store. So product catalog is your entire catalog. You can compare, special search, manufacturers, checkout, etc. You can look at a category, so you define the category within your store. Now you would enter in the category there, you would type it in. You can link to a particular product, and then you enter that here. So you would type in, so let's say Canon. So there's a Canon EOS, that would link to my Canon EOS 5D. You can link to a manufacturer information page, blog pages, you can pop a login form, and you can pop a registration form. So there's a number of different things you can do here. At the moment, let's set that as none. We can define the background of this particular section as well. So now we've got our banner 2B, and we go back, and I'm going to add that again. It's a banner, banner 2B, and that's saved, and now we have built that out. Okay, so this is how you construct a page. It's done by adding your containers. Within those containers, you're going to add your elements, and you choose from the elements that are available, such as blocks, etc. So let's add now another row. So what I tend to do as well is I block things into rows. So rather than create one page with everything included in that one big container, what I will do is I will add a series of rows rather than doing it that way. Now, why would I do that? Well, what it means I can do is I can reposition the entire row with ease rather than trying to drag elements within a row, within a container to a different row. So once we are happy that the row contains what we want, so look, I'm just going to add in, let's add in a block here. Right, so within a block, what I did was, this is where we may embed, for example, a Kartra calendar. So let's take a quick look at that. So in the block, what I've done is I've added in a Kartra calendar, I've defined it as a HTML editor, and what I've done is I've added that code here onto the page. So the block allows you to add those, okay? So I'm going to go back out here, and I've done it again. I'm going to add that row, save that row, which will stop me losing the rows again. I'm going to go to a block, and in this case I'm going to add a Kartra calendar. I'm going to save that, and next I'm going to see my Kartra calendar will appear here on that page. Okay, we can go back to this. We can then add another row. So I'm adding a row. We can see that this row has now come here, and I want to then add let's say we're going to add a gallery. So what we would then do is look at, in this case I created a gallery called Partner Gallery, okay? And in there we have Kartra SiteGround, etc. Now, where you will see these is if we go back to the home page of my demo store, when we scroll down here, this is that little gallery that has been applied here. So you go in, and this is the same as when you're adding a banner, etc. You're adding in an image, but this case it's going to be a gallery. Okay, and within the gallery you've got items per row where you can define that. You can go into your custom, you can say well, it's 3 items, 3 columns. You can look at thumbnails, you can look at a variety of different options, and I suggest that you need to become familiar with this theme, and you need to look around and you need to play. And setting up test pages is a great way to play. So let's look, we're going to add in a row, and in this row I'm going to add in a gallery, and in this gallery I'm going to put in my partner gallery. Okay, we're going to save that, and then we're going to go back to our page. Now I understand that this looks a little bit messy, but this gives you a sense of what you can do with this. So now you can see we've got defining the columns. We've got 2 columns. We're adding in page titles. We're customizing the main title. We add in our banner images. We can add in a block containing our Kartra calendar in this example, or other embeddable information, videos, etc. And now in this instance, what I've done is I've brought in these 6 partner images and applied them to the page. So this is how you start to look at how you build out a custom page within the Cart Integrator Go e-commerce store using the very powerful Journal e-commerce theme. Okay guys, I think I've covered enough in this video to get you started. So I suggest you play, enjoy it, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.